What if I tell you that all the thumbnails you see on the screen have been created by me on my mobile phone, and that too in just a few minutes? You will be able to create such thumbnails easily in any mobile app. So without any further delay, let's start the video. Alright, so now we have come to Pixellab, and let me tell you that even if you have not used this app before, you will be able to follow this tutorial easily because I'll explain everything fundamental from very basic. So to create a thumbnail, first of all, you will have to change the size of the canvas because it is currently in square shape. So for this, click on the three dots above and go to the image size. Now, if you select YouTube thumbnail from the preset menu, the size will be 1920 into 1080 in 16:9 aspect ratio. For now, I don't need this text element. So let me delete it. And now we are ready to create a thumbnail. Have a look at this thumbnail of Mark Zuckerberg. In this thumbnail, first of all, we create the background, so pay attention to its background. It is mainly made of two things, one image of a mobile screen with some apps on it and a pink and blue gradient. To find such an image, I would go to pexels.com and I would search, let's take this one, okay. So now we need a gradient. So for this, come to the Pixellab and click on the fourth option in the bottom menu. Then click on color and you can see from here you can select a color or a gradient for the background of the canvas. So go to gradient and if you like any gradient, so select it. Or let's say that we like the style of the gradient but we want to change its color. For this, you can click on the plus icon so that you'll be able to completely edit this gradient. And I want a pink and a blue gradient. So I'll select the first color box and then click on paint bucket tool and then select the pink color. Then select the second color box and makes it color blue. So if you want, you can also change the style of the gradient from here, but I would like to go with the default. So now look at the top, there is a plus icon. So I'll click on that and select from gallery. And I'll import the image that we had downloaded. Then let's adjust it on the screen. Okay. Now bottom, click beyond the third option in the menu. And remember that if you import any image or element into Pixellab, you'll have to come here to edit it. Now I want to reduce the opacity of this image. So I'll go to opacity and let's reduce it to 28 or 25. Looks good. So for a final touch, I'll reduce the brightness of the gradient a little bit from here and now it looks perfect. Now that's our background which is ready. So obviously we have to go with this image of the mobile screen. There's no need to do any tampering here. For the next step, we need a high quality photo of Mark Zuckerberg, which is very easy. I like to use Wikipedia. Now go to remove PG and upload the image and remove its background. So I'll import my image. So look, I will take this PNG, manually resize it like this. Or you can also get a relative size tool here. So now I am satisfied with its size and placement. So I click on the plus icon and add a text box. To edit it, we'll select the text option from the bottom menu and then we will click on edit. If I want to write like change in paradigm in the thumbnail, then first write this. So if you want to add any other word here, simply duplicate the text. So instead of creating a new text box, it is better that we just copy it and edit it and write. So once again, you can make it bigger or smaller manually, or you can simply use the size tool here. Okay, so I think now I am satisfied with size and placement of the text. Then I'll go to fonts and here are some fonts already in Pixellab, which you can use, or if you want to import fonts, then go to My Fonts and click on this folder icon and import your downloaded fonts now. So I'll go to layers and lock both these text layers. Then I'll click on the icon, select shapes, and as you can see from here, you can add any shape in your thumbnail and you can also edit it. I only need a rectangle which I can create easily. Recycle the square like this. So let's change its color to something orange from here and also reduce the opacity, and I will resize it a little bit and then we will click. So now I want the rectangle text and marks the cube and then go beyond it. For this, I'll simply go to layers and drag it from the dotted area in the rectangle layer and place it below the text layer with Mark Zuckerberg layer. And it is looking fine. So our thumbnail is almost ready. Only one thing remains to be added, and that is this fire overlay. And that is to add a fire overlay. If we search fire PNG on Google, we will get many such images. For example, let's go with this one. I will import it and resize it, and also reduces opacity, and there we go. Our thumbnail finally it's ready. See how good it looks. To export it, we will click on 3 dots above and we will select export as image format and select PNG and dimension. Because we have provided it ourselves, so I'll keep it custom and then I'll click on save to gallery, and yes, it is possible that you may have to change something in the thumbnail later, and that's it. So now let's see how you can create this amazing thumbnail in Pixellab. Since we have learned the basics, so it will be easy to create it. Okay, so first we have to create a blue and pink gradient, which we created a little while ago. Now I'll just make it style diagonal and switch it color. Then by clicking on the plus icon at the top, I'll create a photo of a video editing timeline. And I'm going to import that saturation, so you can play with these a little bit as well. I want to increase the saturation a little bit, and now it looks good. Now let's lock this layer. So now we need a photo. So I now remember whenever you want to perfectly align an element in the canvas, you simply click on that element and go to the third option of the bottom menu and use the relative position tool here. Now I want that the element is exactly at the center of the horizontal screen. So if I come to it, I'll simply click on it and my PNG will be aligned. Now if you will look a little next to the relative position, you will get the option of color filters, from where you can control the brightness, contrast, hue and saturation of the element. So I am using this one. So I will increase the brightness and the contrast and then look at the color filters. The next option is stroke. So I enable it too, and let's keep the stroke with sand. Then go ahead with the stroke and then you will get the option of shadow, through which you can drop shadow in the elements. So I'll enable it and I'll set the blur radius to 25, and let's not mess with this element anymore. So I'll lock this layer. So now it's time to add some text. So I'll go to the text tool and alright, breakdown and its font mass will be right. So now because this text is covering head, we will go to layers and put this text layer below the image layer and then another one. So let's add a text box, and in it I'll tap editing, and then I'll go to font, and this time I'll go with a thin font. So let's go with Arial, and let's make the text look good. So let's lock both the text layers here. And for the next step, I will click on the plus icon and import this logo. We'll add a 3D effect to it, and for this you will have to go to the rotate option, and here you can rotate your element in the X and Y axis as per your wish. So I'll rotate it to 30 degrees and enable it. So there's an option of depth below, so you can adjust it as per your wish, and I'll keep it 6. So you can also change the color of the depth, that is you can add any color here or you can change it, and you can add a gradient effect. So now because this logo is on top, I'll shift this layer below the image layer, and you can see that thumbnail is already looking so good. But the CapCut logo is yet to be added, so I'll quickly add that too. So this is done, and for this too, I have repeated the same step as for the Premiere ones. So our thumbnail is ready. As always, save the project so that later if you want to make any changes, then you can do it easily. Alright, so we have done this. Now you have learned it, how you can create YouTube thumbnails from your mobile phones, and you have learned this skill. So now you can use this to make your own YouTube videos thumbnail, and also you can provide thumbnail creation services on freelancing platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, and earn money online. So hopefully guys, this was helpful, and if you like the video, simply give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care.